Well, it's that time of year again. The Derby commenced tonight under very different circumstances than last year. We're wearing the headgear, we're socially distanced. Kevin, a great night's racing. It's great to have the Derby back, albeit in very different circumstances than normal.
Yeah, very much so. Look, I spent the night over the far side, and I must say all the staff here done every bit they could. All Shelbourne staff wearing their face masks, everyone trying their best to keep as much social distancing as possible, and then you see over here, and look, it's in a way it's a good way. You don't see the big crowds on top of each other, but it's quite sad as well. Look, it's our flagship event. You like to see the grandstands packed, but look, there's worse things going on in the world, and at least we're getting to enjoy top quality racing. Indeed,
a lot of people, of course, sitting at home watching the racing. It's not really dampening people's spirits. People really have a graw and a taste for the dogs at present, and we can tell by the amount of hits we're getting online that people just want content. They want to watch the dogs, and hopefully a lot of people were tuning in tonight.
Yeah, look, very much so. I see Sarah is on top of it, and the traction, like you said, it's through the roof. And yeah, look, in these uncertain times, people just want to latch on to stuff, and what better way than exhilarating racing like we had tonight.
Well, let's talk about the racing. Of course, we'll start at the start. Where else to start? Yeah. And the first heat tonight went to ROANNA BESS. This lady has improved no end through her 7 starts. Tonight was only her 7th start. It's her 4th win. She did a 17.22 to the third bend. She's strong. She goes up well. She's a really nice performer for Adrian Marr and Robbie O'Neill. And she ran a hell of a race tonight.
Yeah, she really did, and she's an immaculate card, like she really does. She's been running really well in Enniscorthy, and tonight her performance was outstanding. The 2 ladies dominating from the front, and we've done this a number of years now, and there's always a couple of bitches that go quite far in the competition, and these 2 ladies really would stick out as 2 potentials to go quite far. Razzle Dazzle for Neelius O'Connell, who finished 2nd, has been running really well up here over longer distances, over 5.75, so we know she stays. But ROANNA BESS, like you said, out dominating performance and a really quick 29.45.
Yeah, of course, she had a 29.50 on her cards. It was no surprise. She was one of the market principals, but it was strange how in a cleanly enough run race these 2 were just streets ahead. Nothing else seemed to land a blow. Doolin Duke, it just didn't happen for him tonight, but as we've said, a good performance by the 2 ladies.
Yeah, very much so. Doolin Duke, just a word there, as we saw later in the card, coming from Clonmel, with the lack of probably a run or 2 around here, just got caught out by the boxes, but keep an eye on him. He's a very good, promising pup.
So on to the second heat, and one of the main fancies for outright glory, GLENGAR, BALE, himself a lightly raced tracker, having just his 8th start. This was his 4th win. One of the rare nights that he got loose on the bunny. Don't be surprised if he does it more, because a 17.08 sectional to the third bend would suggest he's showing plenty of early speed. Actually came back to his rivals in the closing stages. Despite his breeding, he could be a dog that could develop into an early pacer rather than a stout stayer, but a very impressive display all the same. 29.40, I'm sure there's better to come from him. In behind, Burgess Puma, a real eye catcher in 2nd on just his 3rd career start. BALLYMAC Kingdom, it didn't happen for him early, found a bit of traffic, but did run on strongly, which you'd expect from the Corncucullen winner. But GLENGAR BALE ran out a good 4.5 length winner, 29.40. He's a dog to go a few rounds, I'm sure.
He is. He's my eye catcher of the night. I saw this dog running in Tralee in the unraced, and I went down there with a dog of my own, JT Japan, who I think an awful lot of. Unfortunately, due to injury, he's not lining up in the Derby, but Japan got loose one night, and I thought there wouldn't anything go quicker than him, and GLENGAR BALE did. There was only a couple of spots in it, and he did that the hard way as well. This dog stays an awful lot better than what we saw tonight. For me, he probably needed the run. He's a lightly raced fella, and I think Pat might just have this lad a little bit undercooked. The way he trapped tonight, if he can produce those sort of starts throughout this Derby, I would have no fear about this dog staying better than he did tonight. When he got on the bunny early, I said this is a run. This lad is going to do a real good run. Not that 29.40 isn't. I expected a lot quicker, and I think he'll go a lot quicker. Definitely the one, if he continues to keep starting, I can see this lad going close to 28 seconds. He's that good. He's a real good dog, who I'm, as you can tell, a massive fan of, and I think if he can follow up on that start, that's the thing. We haven't seen him produce that sort of early so far in his career. If he can maintain that, he'll go far in this competition. And like you said, Burgess Puma only having his 3rd start. He is a July 18, which is, he is still young, but for due to COVID, he'd probably have 10 more races under his belt at this stage, but for such a lightly raced puppy to run on eye-catchingly behind GLENGAR BALE, another one to keep a close eye. And like you said, BALLYMAC Kingdom stepping down from 6 bends. It probably happened a little bit quick for him tonight, having been running against stayers the last number of weeks. Been running against Derby dogs is a bit of a different kettle of fish, and it just happened a little bit quick for him. But look, we know he stays, and a stayer always goes far in these competitions.
Yeah, just two things there. Echo your thoughts about GLENGAR BALE. I think I might have said it twice in commentary. This is a quick run.
Yeah.
Bit surprised it was only 29.40, but he did come back, as you say, stay stronger. No question he'll be doing a few spots faster when he leads again. Just in fourth spot there, Drumrich Altair.
Yeah.
John Durdigan's done it again, and there's more to that story later on in the card. We move on to the third heat, and this was the first defeat of New Win Taylor. He completely walked from traps, showed brilliant early speed, didn't get away in them down the back straight like I thought. The Wakiki Kino dog stayed with him relatively well to the third bend, but Toolmaker Sydney, we know he's big down the back. 2 to 3. He's only like the race. It was only his 5th start, but once he went second at that third bend, well, he was travelling like a winner thereafter and stayed on strongly to lead up the home straight. A good victory for Toolmaker Sydney, but the real talking point was probably that first defeat of New Win Taylor.
Yeah, and look, I think after Doolan Duke doing what he did at the boxes, I'd say Graham Holland and the camp let the biggest sigh of relief when this dog got through ever, because I had a fear tonight about the dogs coming from the Produce Stakes, the lack of runs, just to change the traps. I seen it. BoyleSports Extra is one of the best starters in the country. Everybody knows that. He ran in Thurles recently. We brought him up here and he completely missed the kick. And he's one of the best starters with 30 races around Shelbourne. So it happens. And especially on younger dogs, it was always a potential fear. His early pace to the corner tonight was sensational. Like, he's in against Derby quality dogs, giving him 2 lengths of a start at the winning line, and he's a length clear again at the first bend. He is the real deal. We know that. Look, he's probably not an out and out 550 yard dog. The track is running good, which will definitely help him. Down the back, yeah, he didn't pull away from the 2, but Toolmaker Sydney was there, and we know he's an exceptional dog from 2 to 3. So I think that maybe Wakiki Kino just stepped up, like, really, because he was like, Toolmaker Sydney wasn't gaining on New Win Taylor too much either. So look, a real good winner. I know Robert has had so many problems with Toolmaker Sydney, and I wouldn't like to take that away from the victory, because this is a dog that had a number of problems, serious problems from last year, and the work that Robert has put into him to get him back to this stage and to run as well as he is running at the moment. I wish Connections all the best, because they've done a tremendous job with him. But look, we'll see more from New Win Taylor. I have no fears.
Yeah, no question. Better to come from both the winner and, of course, New Win Taylor. New Win Taylor, a 17.22 to the third bend, and probably gives him 4 legs a head start. Yeah. You know, that means a sub 17. That's serious racing.
Oh yeah, look, he's a Produce Stakes winner, and he's unbeaten to now. And I was talking to Graham the far side, and he summed it up. He said, in a way, I'm glad the streak is gone, because it just stops everyone talking about and putting extra pressure on the dog. And look, I have no doubt there's more to come from him, and I look forward to seeing it.
We move on, Heat 4 of the Derby, and this one went to Dearjet Sydney, completing a double for Pat Buckley. Flash from boxes, as we expected, dive straight inwards. Lenson Bocco, the Derby champion. Not a bad thing that he missed the kick and finished third tonight, because if he had come away on terms, Dearjet Sydney may just have knocked him to the ground the way he cut in, the way he did. Yeah, Lenson Bocco, I've no question, is better to come from. Still only his 3rd start since last November, so we'd expect him to improve. But in fairness to Dearjet Sydney, he was an impressive winner. A 3:38 sectional, it was a flying start, a 17.11 to the third bend. He was racing early. A fast dog that seems to be really coming to hand at the right time.
Yeah, I feared for the worst in this heat. I saw Dearjet Sydney again, another one to come out at unraced stake in Tralee. I saw him down there, brilliant early pacer, brilliant down the back. I didn't think he'd be an out and out 550 yard dog, to be fair. Reminds me a lot of Pestana, Boyle Sports Extra, those fast starters who need the rails. Anytime they're drawn in 4, 5 or 6, you really got to hope you're not on the inside of them. They dive to the inside. It's not even stepping to the left, they literally dive to the inside. And Dearjet Sydney, this dog done a massive run here last week. It really caught people's attention, and he's followed it up tonight. And more impressively, last week he was in 1. He was expected to do it. Tonight he was in 4. The reigning Derby champion was in 3. You had Oren Don. You had a brilliant sprinter of Jerry Holy and Butsy's Bengal in 1. And he ragged him to the corner. Like, he really blitzed it to the corner. Cabra Hurricane was the dog last year with all the early pace. It could well be Dearjet Sydney this year.
Yeah, Lenson Bocco, he struggled for racing room at a couple of parts in the race. He showed great determination to get into it. Looked like he was going to finish second actually around the last bend, but he drifted wide as Butsy's Bengal was starting to retreat. Razzle Dazzle Maya, coming in as a reserve, snuck through to grab second, but you know, we'd expect far better from Lenson Bocco in the future. He's still certainly a worthy favourite, if not favourite, close to it.
Oh, he will be. Look, he's still a young dog himself, and we know how good he is. He's had 2 unfortunate starts now in back-to-back weeks. If you're connected or you have a few quid in him, you'd hope that he'd brush up on his strapping boots. And if he does, I'm sure he'll get back to the form he had last year.
Moving on, the 5th heat of the night, and I think this was the most standout, telling display of the evening. This message was both loud, clear. He basically told us, I'm ready to really challenge for this derby. The Champion Stakes winner Pastana was brilliant. Dived inwards from traps as we've been talking, but showed that brute early speed to race to the front, went quickly 4 lengths clear. He only wins a length, but Razzle Dazzle Peaky, we know, powers up the home straight, so you know it probably looked worse than it was. He's staying on well because he's doing 29-21. This was a run from a dog that could definitely, most certainly, win a derby.
Oh yeah, no question. He proved it last week. And he is the best early pacer in the Derby in my book. He really is. He's so quick. He's electric from a box. He proved to me in the Champion Stakes that he stays. I didn't think he would get the 550 strong enough to win a Derby. I think he could have got it to go a couple of rounds. I didn't think he could get it to win it. But what he did in the BoyleSports Champion Stakes last week, from 2 to 3 or 2 weeks ago, what he did to real top quality dogs, off the second bend he opened up distance. You don't do that unless there's a serious engine in there, and he has it in spades. Like you, when he got the trouble tonight, I didn't think he could do 29.20. I thought crossing the line, if someone put up the clock at 29.50 after the bump and he got at the boxes, you'd say crack and run. That 29.20, like if he was in 1 or 2 tonight with a clear run, what would he have done? Do you know? Like, so yeah, look, Owen has him absolutely flying. If he maintains that and stays injury free, he's definitely one of the top 3 or 4 in the competition for me.
Yeah, fastest of the night to the third bend tonight, 17:01, fastest to the winning line, 29:21. Brilliant performance. Behind him, Razzle Dazzle Peaky is running exceptionally well. He's a really consistent, hard-running dog for Neil's O'Connell. Neil's dogs are flying, as we know, and running on very strongly in third was Red Zerardford. I was quick to put a line through him after his Corncucullen display in the final. I thought maybe he'd just gone over the top. He flew home tonight. He's only beaten 4 lengths in 29:21. Like, he's doing sub 29:50. A big run by the old fella out in 6, Red Zerardford, and perhaps he might go a round or 2.
Yeah, absolutely. And the dog, just to touch back on Razzle Dazzle Peaky, if someone's looking for a dog, I'm sure he'd be about 50-1. That dog could line up against the best 5 dogs in the country and he'd be in the shake-up. He's never out of frame, and just a word for him, like you said, if you are looking for a big price runner who's probably one of those dogs that goes under the radar, he's definitely one.
To stick to the theme of the early heats, this was a relatively lightly raced dog, CATCHMEFLYING, to win Heat 6, claiming his 7th win from 11 starts. I really like this fellow. He goes up well, flies down the back, and he stays on strongly. There's probably dogs that go up faster than him. There are a few that'll go faster down the back, and there's a few that'll stay on better than him. But as an overall package, this is a really nice dog. 29:36 tonight, a hell of a run. 17:22 to the third bend. He's a strong running dog for Thomas Buggy. This dog could go a few rounds, and really nice type.
Yeah, he is, and you know what? He's surprising Thomas every night. I met Thomas up here a couple of weeks ago. The dog was having his first run around Shelbourne, and he clocked 28:26. And Thomas turned to me and goes, "The track must be on fire." Now, look, we all know the track is running good. And then he brought him up and he gave him a trial over the 550, and he done an exceptional trial. And now tonight he's doing 29:36. He's a dog that's thriving. He really is. He's a young dog who's come from Kilkenny, had some nice runs in Kilkenny. There's been faster than him in Kilkenny on the clock the nights he's run, but he is just putting every piece of the jigsaw together at the moment, and he's thriving, and a young dog in good form, going the right direction. Who knows what he could do? He's improving every night he goes into the boxes, and like you said, exactly, I think you summed him up crackingly. There's dogs with better early, there's dogs better than him down the back, and there's better stayers, but he is really improving, and he puts every piece together. The way he drove the corner tonight from me from 6 was very telling. That was a dog that he flung himself at the bend to get around, and he really wants it, and like you said, I wouldn't be surprised to see this dog go quite far.
Second and third are good markers. Like Bichu Cognac, there is no better marker here at Shelbourne Park. He's a 29.70 dog that gives his all every single night of the week. and he turned second. He's beaten 5 lengths in a short head, so he's doing 29.72, 29.73. You know, the run's there. It's on the board. It's there in black and white. He's a dog that'll go a few rounds. As we said, there are probably dogs that'll do things better than them, but you wouldn't be surprised to see him in a quarter-final and with a bit of luck, perhaps a semi-final.
Exactly, yeah. And BHOY Cognac, just to say, for me, brilliant to see him getting through. I don't think there's a dog running in the country that's less supported than this lad. And yeah, like you said, you couldn't get a better benchmark. And look, to be honest, he Catch Me Flying was just way too good tonight.
Yeah. We move on. The next tease of the night was Jack's Solution. Here, BALLYMAC Cooper was the hot favourite in Trap 1. We were worried about the boxer. Not that we were worried, we were just concerned we hadn't seen him run from in there for quite some time. He actually took a hefty bump at boxes, probably not his fault. 2 dog moved in on him. He ran a big race afterwards, and I commented in running, he did stay close to the fence. I think it might be the right call to keep him inside seat. I don't know whether Liam will do that, because he does go up hard from the outside, but I think he does stay quite tight to the fence when he's allowed to. But let's get back to the real dog in this one, Jack's Solution, the winner. An impressive display from the front. You know, showed that the Produce Stakes final form was no fluke. He's a really nice dog for his new owner, Eric Cantillon.
Yeah, and you have to say, when you watch the Produce Stakes, he definitely wasn't disgraced in defeat. What a performance he put up. We know how good New Taylor is. He's the benchmark for every pup in the country, and Jack's Solution stuck with him gallantly that night. I was interested to see how he get on tonight, and really taking performance. And Peter, you know him from his ventures in the Derby and this side of the sea and the far side. It's great to see Peter with another good one, and this lad looks potentially as good as any of the previous ones he's had. On Cooper, yes, he switched to the inside up the home straight at the third bend and made his move up the inside there. I was on the back wall. He went wide down the back. Look, the game is all about opinions for me. If he was on the outside, I think he'd get a clearer run most nights. And look, it was hard to tell from the inside. He got trouble leaving the boxes correctly. The 2 dog moving in as well definitely didn't help. But look, he's an exceptionally fast dog. We all know that, and he's the dog that I think could go really far in this as well. Yeah.
We'll move on. There was not much more to say about it except for Jack's Solution, 3.35 for the winning line. If he keeps doing that, he'll go quite a way in this derby. Moving on to Heat 8, and here we saw BALLYMAC Anton, perhaps not at his best, but 29.60. He's a warrior. He knows how to win. A couple of them charging traps in this one. Ferdia took a flyer from trap 4. She couldn't hold on to her lead in the early yards, but Romeo Speedy doing a real favour to BALLYMAC Anton in the corner as he ran off, holding up 5 and 6, and suddenly Anton was 3 or 4 lengths clear and emerged a facile enough winner in 29.69. Definitely better to come from him.
Yeah, look, he's the warrior, isn't he? He's the iron dog. It doesn't matter what trip. He does like an inside box, but he always gives his performance. He's been a stalwart of the kennel, and look, he didn't get away to one of his flying starts. He can trap so much quicker than he did tonight, but he just goes to show the old wise head, sticking to the rails, getting around the first bend, and once in contention, the race was essentially over. I must say, I was standing on the back wall, and Ferdia, the connections of Ferdia, from the minute she left the boxes till the minute she got up for 4th to qualify, they never stopped roaring. Genuinely, I haven't seen anything like it. It just goes to show the emotion and what it means to people to qualify in the Derby. So congratulations to the connections there. She ran a crack.
I did say earlier on when I was talking about Dromrich Altair, there was more to that story. It is Ferdia. She's the smallest runner in the final, or in the Derby, should I say. 53 pounds tonight. She has raced at 52. Yeah. Great to see her getting through. Great story for John Durgan. Of course, they had a little bit of luck last year. They went a couple of rounds, and hopefully maybe one of their two will get through the second round. You never know. But behind BALLYMAC Anton, I note the trap 6 Ripley lad got carried off the opening corner, got badly done. He showed plenty of pace. He's only beaten 4 lengths. Really strong running tracker for the Iron Man from Road.
Yeah, very much so. And Paddy was over the far side in rude health, cracking jokes as always. So yeah, they'll be delighted to qualify. And also Glory Claren won. Just to say for David Murray, this is a lightly raced tracker as well. Plenty more to come from him. He's much better than he showed tonight, and I'm sure with cleaner racing and a better start, he'll get much more involved.
Indeed. We move on. The next heat, the slowest of the night, but a popular winner for the locals, ROPEWALK Boy. This fellow, a real strong runner. has some good form here at Shelbourne Park. He knows the place inside out, and it was evident into the third bend. Cushy Wayne was being challenged on his outside. He decided, no, you're not getting by me. Just a bit of race riding, as you'd say in horse racing, and that left a gap up the inside. And ROPEWALK Boy saw it, and you could almost see him pin his ears back and go to it. And he charged through at the third bend. When he goes to the front, he's going to be hard to pick up. Okay, it's only 30.03. There's no Derby winner in this heat. Let's get that right. But a good winner, ROPEWALK Boy, and it's good to see the locals having a good winner.
Yeah, very much so. And look, they'll go home with the same trophy everyone else went home with tonight, regardless of the clock. And Debbie was over there, and they were buzzing. And I think it'll even mean more to him to win on the Friday night. Liam O'Rourke, obviously a renowned runner on the Friday night, having only just the one runner tonight would be weird for him, leaving the kennels of a Friday with just one runner. But look, 100% strike rate tonight, and delighted for Connections. ROPEWALK Boy, like you said, as soon as he hit the front at the third bend, the race was essentially over. He pinned his ears back, took the opportunity when it arrived, and look, Connections are in the next round, and I'm sure they're thrilled about it.
Cushy Wayne stayed on again to grab second, and your pal Gerwin Price has a runner in the second round of the Derby with Grand Slam champ, his new name of course, obviously named by Gerwin, and he'll have a runner in the second round of the Derby.
Yeah, he was buzzing. He texted me before, let's go champ, and afterwards he was straight on with text message as well. So yeah, Gerwin will be delighted that he gets into the next round too.
We move on, heat 10, and this was CATUNDA Logan at his best. He loves the inside, he has great early dash. Iconic Rory showed plenty of early speed, but really slammed the brakes on into the corner. CATUNDA Logan with that inside pitch, shot on, and of course he's coming back to him in the closing yards. 550 is just perhaps a little bit far for him, but a good winner in the end from a lady that has yet to put it together, but when she does, she has some pace. This unlock. They were the big two to take out of this one, but yeah, CATUNDA Logan, a professional performance. If he's in trap one, he's always going to be a player.
Massively, yeah, and they really have him flying at the moment. But he, like you said, he trapped reasonably well, but his early pace from the winning line to the corner was the difference. Standing across, they seemed to be pretty much in a line, but from halfway to the bend, he just shot clear. And once he got to the front, he was able to dominate, which we know he has to do over this trip. And I was delighted for Connections. Like you said, another dog is probably draw dependent, would love an inside rails pitch, and once he got it, he was able to dominate and dictate. Unlock, she's JT Taylor's half sister, and she runs like him. She's an absolute airplane. She really is. I hope she can brush up on her early pace. I really do for Connections, but from the third bend, she just goes into overdrive, similar to what Taylor used to do. That line is just, they all are exceptionally fast greyhounds. She's another one, and look, if she's close at the third bend, how is she going to stay out the first three most nights? So another one that, if you're looking at extra markets like which bitch could go the furthest, I'm sure she's going to be popular.
Yeah, she was the shortest price bitch in the betting, of course, before us at 33-1, which is quite unusual in itself, but yeah, she does a massive pace. It's worth noting it was only her 5th career start, so yeah, like the penny has yet to drop, it's clear, but yeah, what an engine. Just note there that Thomas Buggy, another one getting through there with Kilgraney Vegas, a real professional for him, a dog that's rarely out of the frame. On so to Heat 11, the penultimate race of the night, and INDESATCHEL had shown plenty of pace in defeat last week, but opening his count at the 4th time of asking. A fast runner for Graham Holland and the Pillar Syndicate, who would do some shouting if this fellow got to the latter stages of the Derby. Yeah,
he was very impressive this night. I wanted to see him. I wanted to see that sort of a performance. He was a dog with a big reputation coming into the unraced here. We didn't really get to see that. He ran more eye-catchingly last time out, but also having to come from well off the pace. Turning close tonight, we got to see his true colours, and 29.51 for a dog only having his 4th race without a victory to his name was a very eye-catching performance. I'm sure he'll improve on that with confidence, having learned how to get to the front, dictate, get the win under his belt. Young dogs always need that, and I'm sure he'll come on an awful lot far. But he's a dog. Of that race, he was the one that I really wanted to see the most. He was the dog with the potential. Droopy's wide, I must say, for Robert. If Robert can get this lad to trap a little bit quicker, he's every bit as quick as the winner. He showed every bit as much foot as him from the third bend, even from the second bend to home. I think he might just be a 6-bender myself. Robert maintains he might be able to get him to go up a bit quicker. If he does, he's got all the ability, but he just gives away a little bit too much at the start for me.
Worth noting here at Lagazette, Noel Neenan was up from Kilmallock. This dog showed plenty of early speed. His only win had come in A1 company. Runs a blinder, finishes second to a fast greyhound.
Yeah, like you said, yeah, and another one with good early pace. A middle seed. there won't be many of them as we go through the Derby, so it'll be interesting to see what type of draws he gets. There's loads of inside seeds in this competition, so not one you might want to see out in 6.
One that might be a big price next night, Rockburst Mike. I thought he ran well in defeat, completely missed the kick, as you said, coming out of Thurles, like BoyleSports Extra.
Yeah.
He had the trial which helped him. This fellow hadn't. He walked out of box as a result, but he did run on strongly as he does. Moving on, the final heat of the night, a strange affair here. Deadly Missile did emerge a good winner in the finish, showed brilliant speed down the back straight, but going into the corner he looked a certainty, but just seemed to miss a step or just eased off or whatnot. Your fellow, of course, being a professional that he is, shot through the gap when it was afforded to him, but he is perhaps just, after coming up against a really special dog, a dog with sensational pace. Just be wary of Deadly Missile. You don't know what he did around that opening corner, but once he got a clear run down the back straight, he really flew again into the third bend. I'd say 2 to 3 was as fast as anything in the Derby.
Yeah, look, he done a run here last week that blew the whole place apart. Like, it was the 4th fastest time ever done for the 550. I don't know what happened at the first bend. Going into the first of all, out of the box I was delighted when I saw BoyleSports Extra just trapping and getting across. He caused trouble to a couple of the inside ones, which we knew he was going to do if he did get away. But when Deadly Missile led him, I was expecting Deadly Missile to beat him quite convincingly, to be fair. If he led BoyleSports Extra, going around the first 2 bends, not really sure, like you said, what happened, how Extra ended up in front. And BoyleSports Extra's won the Night of Stars, he's won Derby final, he's 28 seconds out there, and Deadly Missile just ragged him down the back. Like, he just changed the gears and exploded into the third bend. From there, even I thought he might go a bit further away from BoyleSports Extra. Extra stuck with him, the fighter that he is. He stuck at the task that he had very well. And 29.60, look, we know there's plenty more left in the tank with Deadly Missile. We just would like to see him put it all together like he did last week again. Yeah,
Skywalker Logan, just over 6 weeks away from his 4th birthday. This is his victory lap. Like, Pat has basically suggested that he's nearly finished. He wasn't planning to run him in the Derby. He always says Shelbourne Park isn't his track. He ran okay in 3rd tonight because he didn't get loose. We know he still has an engine, and don't be surprised if he was to reduce a run or 2 in the next few weeks.
Yeah, look, he's a fan favourite, and you'd love to see him going up a couple of rounds. He's a dog that has captured the imagination this side of the sea and the far side for so many people, and it'd be a brilliant story if he could keep going a few more rounds.
The one of the night was Pestana.
GLENGAR BALE for me of the ones that I wasn't expecting. I expected of Pestana now after what he did in the Champion Stakes, but GLENGAR BALE very eye-catching for me.
Indeed. Only 24 dogs were eliminated from the Derby tonight. We've seen 12 fantastic performances, and we've seen some fantastic displays in defeat. More to come. Join us for more action here at Shelbourne Park. The BoyleSports Irish Greyhound Derby will be here for the next 5 weeks.